Origins of Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards, also known as Mr. Fantastic, is the leader of the Fantastic Four. He can stretch his body to great distances due to his exposure to cosmic rays while in space. He is also considered to be one of the smartest men alive, using his brain to explore alternate dimensions and save the world alongside his family from science-based threats. Reed Richards was born in Central City, California, and the son of Nathaniel and Evelyn Richards. Reed's father was a brilliant scientific genius and a trait that Reed inherited. Reed excelled in mathematics, physics, and mechanics and was enrolled in college by the age of 14. He went to multiple colleges including Massachusetts Institute of Technology, California Institute of Technology, Harvard University, Columbia University, and Empire State University. While attending EMU he met and became a roommate of Ben Grimm. They became great friends and Reed shared his dream of building a spaceship himself. After EMU, Reed continued to go to school at Columbia University, and he rented an apartment from Sue Storm's aunt. Sue quickly fell in love with Reed. Reed also met Victor Von Doom, while attending Columbia University. Doom loved that Reed could rival his intellect. Eventually Doom became jealous of Reed and began conducting reckless experiments that scarred his face. Reed next enrolled at Harvard and earned his Ph.D. in physics and a mastery in mechanical, aerospace and electrical engineering, chemistry, and all levels of human and alien biology by the age of 22. After he was done with school he used his inheritance and government funding to finance his project. He began building his spaceship in Central City. Sue Storm would move to this same area and eventually found herself dating Reed again. Reed would ask Ben to pilot the ship for him. The government denied the flight into space, so Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny decided to sneak onto the ship and they took the ship into outer space. Reed miscalculated and forgot the abnormality of the radiation from the cosmic radiation. The rays destroyed the ship and they crash-landed back on Earth. After the crash Reed found out that he could stretch his body like elastic at will. Reed adopts the name Mr. Fantastic and convinces the four of them to use their powers for good. During the Civil War, Reed worked with Iron Man on the pro-registration side and was one of the higher-ranking individuals. The choices he made during Civil War would cause a rift between him and Sue, especially when he unleashed a clone Thor, killing Goliath. Sue and Johnny would leave Reed and join Captain America's group, the Secret Avengers. It was later revealed that one of the reasons Reed sided with the Superhuman Registration Act was because of his uncle. His uncle had picked a fight against the American government and was imprisoned, ruining his career, reputation, and ability to find work. He believed his uncle was wrong for picking a fight that he could not win, which led Reed to not go against the Registration Act. The other reason Richards joined the act was related to a mathematical equation he had been working on. In that equation he used theories to surmise that at the current path humanity was heading in, it would be a matter of time before they all destroyed themselves. He hid the knowledge from his family, and it wasn't until Johnny decided to visit with his brother-in-law in secret, that this information came to light. He enlisted the help of the Mad Thinker to check his work. The Mad Thinker theorized that the plan was flawed because he didn't include a person's decision, hence an improbable variable. The Mad Thinker's theory was proven when Sue made herself known. She had been there the whole time, and finally knew why Reed wanted the Registration Act to exist. Angry, she stormed off, leaving Reed with the Mad Thinker. However, Sue's feelings altered when Reed literally took a bullet to protect her from Taskmaster during a massive clash between the heroes. After Civil War, Reed wrote a letter to Sue asking her to come back, and after receiving it, Sue returned to the Baxter Building. In an effort to reconcile and fix the emotional strain their marriage had endured during the Civil War, they decided to take a leave of absence. In their place, Storm and the Black Panther would take over. He took Sue to one of the moons of Saturn to try and rekindle their love, as well as give her their first true honeymoon, since they never had one. While there, Reed discovered a strange object and teleported back to Earth in order to gain information on it. Unbeknownst to him, the Frightful Four commandeered the ship with Sue still within and kidnapped her. This was another plot to destroy the Fantastic Four. Naturally, Reed was able to outsmart the Wizard once again and help save his wife. After the mysterious villain Black Swan attacks Wakanda, the members of the Illuminati learn that the multiverse is undergoing violent universal incursions which consist of two parallel Earths colliding, resulting in their respective universes both being destroyed. When it becomes clear that the only way to protect their world is to destroy the alternate Earths whenever an incursion begins, Captain America is mind-wiped and expelled from the group for his refusal to go along with it. Reed and the others seek various ways to somehow solve the incursions without having to destroy the other world, with little success. When Captain America's memories are restored during Original Sin, Reed and the other members of the Illuminati are declared fugitives and forced to go on the run. Following a 6-month time skip, it is shown that the Illuminati are being hunted by a joint Avengers Shield task force led by Sue. In reality, both Reed and Sue are still working closely together in secret, hoping to find a way to reunite both factions and save all of existence. Sue and Reed are later revealed to be in league with Namor as part of a plot to force the warring heroes to work together. Reed discovers that only a few alternate Earths remain and that time is running out. Powers and abilities. Reed's defining quality is his vast intellect. The intelligentsia considered him one among the 8 smartest men in the world, and Galactus himself once remarked that Reed possessed a universally relevant intelligence. The great resources and revenues of the Fantastic Four stem almost entirely from the legion of patents for things Reed has created, and he is a pioneer in a range of fields including physics, chemistry, biology, computing, space travel, medicine and so on. Even so, Reed acknowledges that there are fields where he would defer to the expertise of others. For instance, while Reed is a brilliant inventor, he still considers Iron Man to be the greatest engineer in the world and has said there's no one that can do the things Tony can do. Nevertheless, for sheer mastery of a wide range of fields and subjects, Reed is arguably the smartest man on Marvel Earth, only ever rivaled by Doctor Doom. His main superpower, however, is that his body becomes elastic and he has complete control over it. This allows him to use his body for either offensive or defensive purposes. He can squeeze through openings sometimes even as small as 1 molecule's breadth. He can twist or reshape his body or stretch roughly 3 miles, approximately 1,500 feet fully extended before physical pain sets in, though in some cases, he has stretched or been stretched past this limit and still managed to push through the discomfort. He can flatten himself to the thickness of a sheet of vellum. By lowering the cohesion of his body through relaxation, he can enter into a semi-liquid state and bypass sealed openings or enter through pipes. Due to Reed's distaste for violence, he will usually wrap an opponent up in his body to attempt to control and compromise with them. To trap an opponent, he can also flatten his body and smother his opponent until they give in. Reed's body becomes gradually weaker the farther he stretches, but through years of practice and healthy regimen, he has become used to it and retains a greater degree of finesse with his elasticity. This affords him the ability to hold tremendous amounts of weight, usually falling rubble or dozens of people, with ease. Even if Reed is fully stretched out, smaller parts of his body, fingers, eyes, parts of his face, can elongate further and make their way into tiny spaces. Applications of his powers include expanding his lungs, allowing him to hold his breath longer, adjusting the distance between his cornea and retina to allow for natural ocular magnification, compacting his skin to repel insects, and in at least one case shortening the distance between the synapses in his brain, allowing him to process thought at impossible speeds. He has also shown that he can stretch his brain, cerebellum, as to facilitate operation of Cerebro, the mutant-finding computer devised by Professor Charles Xavier. Reed's body can blanket and absorb the brunt force of an explosion, usually several tons, though it might strain him to do so. He can reflect sharp weapons such as bullets, darts, knives, etc. as if his body were a trampoline. His body's natural elasticity affords him great resilience in that being flattened, squished, bashed, chewed on, and pummeled will have no lasting effects, and he momentarily reforms, even being shot point blank in the face or any part of his body, while discomforting, will have no lasting damage as he just reflates into normal. This is due in no small part to his suit comprised of unstable molecules, which stretches and shifts as he does and takes a substantial of protection for him. However, despite the fantastic nature of Reed's abilities, he is not invulnerable. Though it is difficult to do, his skin has been cut and can be if he willingly relaxes it. Because he is like rubber, he suffers all the drawbacks of it, like melting in heat and freezing in cold conditions. Electricity is generally not a great weakness to Reed, but a quick or sufficient shock can paralyze that part of his body and make his form lose composure. More concentrated energy, like that of Dr. Doom, can be detrimental enough to reduce him to his liquid state. This can be achieved in a similar fashion if his body is exposed to tremendous amounts of the aptly named heat drug, which, when force-fed down his throat by Dakin, made him quickly melt and lose form. Alien technology like that made by the Skulls is advanced enough to the point of its energy being capable of overwhelming his hyper-elasticity until he is a mess of plastic. Other drawbacks include taffy puller machines that can pull him beyond his tensile strength. This causes great pain and he cannot snap back to his original human form as quickly. The same is also applied to strong opponents, who can easily hurt him by stretching him with their immense strength, such as when Gladiator mistook his for a skull and left him stretched out all over New York City, or opponents who use machines to pull his body in different directions. The Wizard, Quiet Man. Reed can also change his appearance by force of will, like aging himself, altering his hair color and body composition, inflating his body like a balloon, stretching to become vastly taller, imitating a goofy expression to entertain his children, and once even took on the appearance of a bloodthirsty alien, though the sheer concentration and effort it took to maintain the form caused him to drop it soon after. His body's elasticity enables him to shift into inanimate objects, a la a parachute, cube, wheel, trampoline, spring, or container. Some enable him to hide while others serve either the purpose of getting somewhere or aiding someone. As a trampoline, he can cushion the fall of others, and as a parachute save those falling towards the ground. When Reed becomes a ball, he can increase the speed at which he propels himself or simply bounce across a space. He can concentrate his elasticity into one area of his body. For example, it can all go to his fist, making it an effective offensive weapon. This can increase his strength and size considerably, as he did in the instance where he went up against Onslaught. Though he has many great physical feats, his intellect is also considered a power of his. He is one of the smartest in the Marvel Universe, showing himself to be even as smart as alien civilizations. Because of this, mind control is useless, though when it does affect him, it wears off more quickly than on an average human. He is not flawless, however, as he has tried many times to revert the thing back to his normal human form. He also indicates that he cannot understand magic, which usually stunts him when dealing with Dr. Doom or Diablo. Later in life, he also earned a black belt in judo. Reed, at one time, was the possessor of the Power Gem.